online broadcast, so you might get the message. If you're happy with that, which I hope you won't mind, most of the time we are online anyways. Hare Krishna. So feel free to join me in Mangalacharan. Asya Jnana-Jana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve
Namaha
Shri
Shri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Manobishtam
Manobishtam
Stapitam
Stapitam
Yena
Yena
Bhutale
Bhutale
Swayam
Swayam Rupam Kada
Kadamayam
Mayam
Dadati
Dadati
Swapadam
Swapadatikam
Vandeham
Vandeham
Shri
Shri
Guru
Gurun Shri
Yudapadakamalam
Yudapadakamalam
Shri
Shri
Gurun
Gurun
Vaishnavam
Vaishnavamscha
Shri
Shri
Rupam
Rupa
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sahagana Raghunatha
Sahaganatavitam
Vitam
Tam Sajiva
Sadvaitam
Advaitam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Sahitam
Sahitam
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Devam
Shri
Shri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Padam
Sahagana
Sahagana Raghunatavitam Tam
Raghunatha
Sajiva
He
He
Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karuna
Sindhu
Sindhu
Dinabandhu
Deenabandhu
Jagatpate
Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopesha
Gopika
Gopika
Kanta
Kanta
Radha
Radha
Kanta
Kanta
Namostute
Namostute
Tapta Kanchan
Kancana
Gaurangi
Gaurangi
Radhe
Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanu Sute
Vrishabhanusute
Devi
Devi
Pranamami
Paranami
Hari
Hari
Priye
Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
Sindhubhya
Sindhubhava Cha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Bhavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo Namaha
Namo Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya
Krishna
Krishna
Prishthaya
Krishnaya
Bhutale
Bhutale
Srimate
Srimate
Bhakti
Bhakti
Vedanta
Vedanta
Swami
Swamiti
Namane
Namine
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswate
Saraswati
Deve
Devi
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pacharine
Pacharine
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi
Shunyavadi
Pasyate
Pasyat
Jai
Deshitarine
Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Srivastava
Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
Hare Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Bhakt Vrind ki jai, jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna everyone. Such a pleasure to have all of you. As I was saying, today we are going to do Gita Mahatmya. Now there are many more occasions, but couple of occasions which comes to mind regarding Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, we call it Gita Jayanti. That comes in December. That's the time of the year when Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And that's the reason throughout the world, ISKCON share the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita with everyone. So if in case you would like to get any of those books, then they are much in cheaper in the price, not in the value. But if you want in December, there's a book marathon all over. I think last year they did 300,000 books within London itself, but it happens throughout the world. And preachers, teachers, devotees, they go out, try to spread the word of Bhagavad Gita. And I think we all should do it. Why not? Because we know we are lucky enough to be associated with Vedic wisdom, where we know how much wisdom is there in Bhagavad Gita. Something which was spoken 5,000 years back and is still valid. Those questions which Arjun asked, they are still valid questions in our real lifetime. right? So this is the reason we are starting or restarting Bhagavad Gita from scratch. So what we have been doing so far, we have done a small series, 3 or 4 sessions of setting the scene. So somebody who wouldn't know anything about Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata, then we went into a lot of details discussing. So who were Pandavas, their father, Bhishma's story, and a lot of stories we discussed. So Tanmay is not there today. Tanmay discussed. Then other devotees, Devesh and Devika, they discussed. Jay, who could not make it today, he shared it. Krishna Chaitanya is full of Krishna Chaitanya's parents. They know a lot of. So Mataji does the Srimad Bhagavatam sessions. So Krishna Chaitanya knows a lot of stories. So he has been recently traveling, so that's the reason he couldn't join. But we all should come together with all the stories we have. This session is just no, well, any of my sessions usually, but usually with kids, this session is not only me just giving the lecture or the just keep speaking. No, let's have a bit of discussion. So something which you think is not valid, something you think I'm just saying it, but it doesn't mean anything. Something you think I say, but it's rubbish. You said, Prabhuji, you are old, you don't know anything about the life. Come with us. Life is so cool. Well, I'll tell you what, I will come with you. I'm not that older and I'm cool as well, but in my own terms. But I understand some of you are teenagers, some of you are teenagers, going to be teenagers very soon, I think next year or so. And some others will be in a couple of years. So it's very important to be cool. But what I'm going to tell you that with the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, you will get the coolness which will always stay with you. Anything else in material world when we get, it loses its charm after a while. For example, we buy a new mobile phone, we buy a new house, we get a new car maybe. After a while, it loses its charm. But when it's new, oh my goodness me, it's the best thing in the world which has happened to me. Like a new toy, like a new school, like a new book. When we get it first time, we are so excited. But that only happens with material things. But when we get into spiritual life, more and more and more we get it further, the coolness increases multifolds. And there are so many examples, so many examples. Well, I could be one of those examples because I have been cherishing for many years now. And you can see the glow on my face. I'm laughing. I'm still laughing, right? Well, you can see the glow on Shivani's face, but I think she got a bit of light right at the front of her. But the idea is to enjoy the sessions, right? So if you don't enjoy the sessions, let me know any time. I'm not going to get offended that Prabhuji, your sessions are boring. You know how we do? Oh, wow. Sometimes, not in a school, I should not tell you, but in universities, sometimes students are woo, woo, right at the back. But don't tell anyone that I told you. But this is not until you get into the university. In school days, which you all are, don't try to do that. All right, okay. Let's get into it. What let's say the essential teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So again, what we have done so far, we have done setting the scene. If you haven't attended any of those sessions were really good because we went very slow and we shared a lot of stories from Mahabharata. And that kind of gives what we say prelude, the background of Bhagavad Gita. Even without it, we can get Bhagavad Gita, the wisdom in Bhagavad Gita. But with those stories, it's much more meaningful. If you haven't, and who doesn't like good stories? Well, I do certainly. Telling it, listening it. And that's the reason I always invite you guys. Any of those stories you have, and the story doesn't need to be from Mahabharata, from Ramayana, or maybe from any other. So there was another devotee who had a background from Christianity. Well, there are lots of great stories in Bible, a lot of great stories in many other holy books. So feel free, come along, bring your stories. And if there is a moral attached to the good story, awesome, the best, that's the cherry on top. All right, so again, we will start Bhagavad Gita, but still we are not starting Bhagavad Gita. Why? because we need to understand what's the purpose of doing Bhagavad Gita. Why Bhagavad Gita is the topmost scripture in Hinduism, like what Westerner understands, or Sanatan Dharma, as the Vedic scriptures mention. So if you go to any other major organized religion, as we call, they all have, including Hinduism, have one particular holy book, right? And for Hinduism, it's Bhagavad Gita. But what's in it? Why it is so great? Okay, right. So for those who don't know, Arun is sitting next to me, and for last few sessions, we had some kind of discussion. Shivani, you would like to add something, please?
Yeah. I have a question.
Sure, go for it, please.
Why do like people in like any temple, like in ISKCON, why do they wear orange like things like Prabhupada is wearing?
Very good, very good. I asked this question when we went to Sri Lanka. We visited a Buddhist monk. Well, we visited a Buddhist temple, and I met a Buddhist monk there, and she was a female. And I saw everyone wearing white, not saffron or the orange as you referred. And I asked her, and she gave me some answer, which I will give. Well, actually, she said she doesn't know, but this is the culture that everyone wears that. That's what she said. But then I had a bit of more discussion, and then we kind of got what I could share with you, and that might be more meaningful. But anyone else knows why either we wear white or we wear saffron, as in the picture Srila Prabhupada ji is wearing? If anyone doesn't know, Prabhupada is the name given. This is like if you do doctorate, if you do PhD, you get doctor. So if Shivani will do PhD, we will call Dr. Shivani Sharma or Dr. Sharma, right? That's how it goes immaterially. In a spiritual world, when we do spiritual knowledge, spiritual qualification, then these titles are given. Prabhupada. Prabhu is the honor, the Lord, the God, and Pada is the feet. So somebody who always in the memory of the Lord is usually called Prabhupada. But this is not just like somebody's thinking, oh, I always think of Krishna or any other demigod we have. Oh, I should be referred as Prabhupada. No, it's not the person himself or herself doesn't decide. The organization you are part of, that person. It's like you will say, oh, I have done PhD. Oh, well, some organization, some university needs to recognize your PhD, right? Okay, so that's why he's called Prabhupada. Otherwise, his full name is AC. AC is short, Abhay Charnar Vind. Charnar. But we call, yes, in short, we call AC, and then Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. The ISKCON temple in Watford, north of London, we have, that's also called Bhakti Vedanta manor. So Bhakti Vedanta is another term in spiritually we use, and there are few. But Srila Prabhupada was the founder Acharya of ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And that's why his picture is there. He has done a great job. Coming back to Shivani's question, anyone knows why saffron is so holy color? Yeah, Aryan says no. I usually have a chat with Aryan, but anyone else would like to mention why? Anyone? Shall we take this as a homework? Yeah, okay, let me come back on that. Let me tell you, when I had the discussion in Sri Lanka with the female Mataji, the female monk, what she said? Well, she said that, I don't know, we all wear white. There were so many whites, and I can see there were tourists like myself. We had all colorful clothes, and rest of them, what we can refer as devotees of that temple, they all had white, young, old, male, female. And at the end of the day, we reached, well, end of our discussion, we reached to the conclusion that it's the purity. The color white reflects purity, and that's the reason why we wear white. But not straight away. Nobody will say that, okay, it's white, you wear it. Even here in ISKCON temple or many other spiritual organizations. So ISKCON is just one of those organizations, right? There are many spiritual organizations around, and most of the time they do have the colors. White seems to be the first color we wear. So white is so as per the Vedic culture, we are in different, what we say, ashram. So initially we are brahmacharis. Brahmacharis are those who are not married. So most of you are brahmacharis, right? You're not married, you're a student, your sole purpose of life at the moment is to play Xbox. Yeah, Aryan says, yeah. Well, of course, some of you think that way, but it's not really that. It's to study and to excel in whatever you do, right? Not Xbox. Well, yeah, if you play Xbox, excel in that as well. But that's not the purpose of your life right now. But because you are brahmacharis, because you are studying, after that you move on to where I am, grahastha. Shivani, you got your hands up. And that's the beautiful thing about cameras. Please.
So let me get this correct. So we wear the saffron color because it's holy color.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And
If yeah, so I think you're saying that cut the crap, don't give me all that, just give me the answer. Yes, you're right, because it's holy. You're right. You're so right. Okay, or just say this. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Sorry, I have another question. Well, a comment that Prabhupada has a walking stick. It looks a bit like a bamboo stick to me.
Yes, you're right. Well, see, this is not very uncommon, because when you are old, then you need some kind of support, and depends where you are. Some places your grandchildren are your support, somewhere your dog or your cat is your support, or sometimes, or most of the time, a lot of elders, they, senior citizens we call in this country, they have this stick, and yeah, it could be made up of bamboo. And what we said about white color, if you're brahmacharis, then you tend to have white to keep yourself clean, the purity. But to differentiate this ashram from the next level, so grahastha is somebody who is a family member. Grahastha will also have the white, but grahastha could have any, because grahastha will be social person, and social person will go into different activities. So you might not go to your office wearing white all the time. You can. I used to have a manager who always used to have white shirt all the time. I've never seen him in any other color, white all the time. So you could do it, but most of the time you will just have colors. But that's grahastha. When you move on to the next one, or if I compare brahmachari to sannyasi. So brahmachari is someone who is studying, and at some point he will decide to get married and he will become a grahastha. Brahmachari will become a grahastha. Or brahmachari might decide either after grahastha or maybe straight after brahmachari that I don't think I want to get married. And there are many people like that. I don't think I want to start a family, or so I'm not interested in it. I'm really interested in the just learning or spreading the words of Vedas or Bhagavad Gita, for example. In that case, from brahmachari, they go straight to what we call sannyasa. And to differentiate from brahmachari, that somebody is sannyasi now, which means the person has decided the person will never ever get married. So that's the reason most of the organization, especially ISKCON, if a brahmachari will say, I want to take a sannyas, I want to become sannyasi, the organization will say, okay, tell you what, we will put you on a path of 2 to 3 years, which means you have 2 to 3 years to think if in case you will like to go back to brahmachari, or whether you are ready for grahastha, for sannyasa. Because once you have taken sannyasa, it's a vow you have taken, a promise you have made, you cannot go back. But to represent the differentiation between brahmachari, somebody with white, sannyasi usually have saffron. And yes, there are many more reasons, and one of the reasons given by Ojas, a great search. Ojas, thank you so very much. So that's true. Saffron is supposed to be the holy color. And in Bhagavatam, there is a story how the world, and actually in the on Saturdays when we are doing Goloka chart sessions, and we recently done the how the ingredients of the creation, how the body or the material world started. For example, it says our body is made up of five elements. How all these elements got together to make the body as per our Vedic culture. So those videos are also there on the channel if you like to have it, or if you want to join us Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Feel free, and we will have further discussion on that. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Ojas. Thank you, Shivani. And thank you, Aryan. Thank you so much. Okay, Aryan says thank you so much. Great. Let's move on. So now, Bhagavad Gita. What's there in Bhagavad Gita? Why are we doing it? Now, there are a few things we would like to discuss. And one of them is Gita Mahatmya. Now, Gita Mahatmya itself, it's a this is what official. It's not like anyone said something and we'll put together. This Gita Mahatmya is the significance, the importance, the reasoning, and this is given from the scriptures. And this is one of the best part of any organization. If we present the facts and figures, they got to be a research behind it, right? And there should be a reference behind it. So if I will say that rainbow is consist of so many colors, and it's a, how do you know? Yesterday I had the dream. Well, you won't believe it because I'm in London and we don't get a lot of sun. But well, it can't complain so far. Today it was a bit of rain, a lot of rain. We drove to the temple and most of the time we were driving in the rain. But well, it was a great time when we reached there at the temple. So if I will say rainbow, I need to know, I need to give the reference of, or I can say I have seen it myself. Otherwise, there's a research being done and many people in many countries, they have seen it. They have reported back that yes, this is what we call rainbow. And similarly, anything else we will say or we will do, there got to be a bit of reference given to it. So Gita Mahatmya, and the reference I will share in a bit, is what we are going to discuss. What is Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita? The topics of Bhagavad Gita. This is very important. And we have touched base, those who were there with us last time, that topics of Bhagavad Gita. There are few topics in particular. Anyone remembers how many topics are there? No?
5 sections?
Five. Well, okay. Sections, when you say 3 sections, yes, there are 3 sections, but there are 5 topics. So 5 topics, and we will discuss what those topics are. There is nothing else in Bhagavad Gita apart from those 5 topics, right? And those 5 topics will cover the whole life of ours. Really. You can't think of anything more than that. You wouldn't need anything more than that. Right. How to become a student of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone could become a student. But how? Now think about it. If you want to become the student of Oxford or Cambridge University, how will you do it? You have to take admission, right? You have to qualify something. So maybe that's what this is talking about. Are you qualified enough? If yes, what's the criteria? A bit more info. Spirit of Bhagavad Gita, right? It's like you can play with anyone. Oh, I want to play football with you, but you are not very passionate about it. How far you will go, we will see. 7 are syllabus for this course. It says course, but it's basically Bhagavad Gita, right? So this presentation is going to talk everything about Bhagavad Gita, but we are not going to start Bhagavad Gita until we finish this. And as you know, we go very slow because we take all the questions in between, all the discussions we do, and we discuss a lot of different things. So if anyone got any questions on anything we have discussed so far, please raise your virtual hand, say something in the chat like Ojas and Shivani said it. or just open your camera and raise your hand. All right, okay, somebody's in. No? No? Are we good? All right, okay, let's go for it. Who knows who is there in the picture? Anyone? Okay, Shivani got a hand, but she has been answering a lot of time. Anyone else would like to answer? Shubham, yes, please.
It's Shiva and his wife.
Great. Do you know the name of Lord Shiva's wife?
I forgot, but it begins with a P.
Very nice. Great. Clever boy. Thank you so much, Shubham. Yes, Parvati. Okay, Shivani, sorry, I saw your hand late. But do you know any other name of Parvati ji?
My name means Parvati ji.
That's right. Yes. So the goddess Parvati ji has many different names, and Shivani is one of those, and that's the reason Shivani got her name, and that's the reason maybe she knows it. So what do we think Shivji is saying to his wife here? That today I'm just going to eat one chapati. It looks like he got one finger there. Today I'm only going to eat one chapati, no rice, please, I'm dieting. Anyone thinks that's what Shivji is saying? No. Okay, Aryan want to guess. Oh, let me know if anybody else would like to guess. Yes, Aryan, what do you think? He sits next to me.
The Bhagavad Gita.
The Bhagavad Gita?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, he doesn't remember.
My head.
Top of his head, he doesn't remember. But the brain is top of our head. If he can't remember from top of his head, I can't think where else he can think from. He's still thinking. But that's the reason we do it again and again. Yes, please, Shivani, you got your virtual hand up.
It kind of looks like he's warning Parvati ji about something. He's like, I warn you. I
warn you. Diwali is coming. Clean the house. Yeah, Kartik month is there. Damodar Ashtakam is there. Remember to do Damodar Ashtakam. Like when you joined, those of you who joined on time, like Ojas was there before time, great job. You might have heard there was a Damodar Ashtakam going in the background. Beautiful, beautiful if you haven't seen it. And we will do at some point as well. Damodar Ashtakam. During Kartik month, we do Damodar Ashtakam every day. And it's beautiful. It's if I may say, if it's delicious to your ears. Some of you from 11 plus might pick up how it could be delicious for your ears. Oh wow, this is a simile I give. Kids love to pick me for good reasons, of course, fair enough. But what Shivji is saying here is there was a time, and if you see the references there in Padma Purana, if you haven't heard Padma Purana, now we have Vedas. There was only one Veda. Anyone remembers the name of the very first Veda? Anyone? There are 4 Vedas, but the name of, or maybe if you remember the name of any Veda. Name of any one Veda.
Rigved?
Rigved. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shivani. Yes, Rigved, R-I-G. Rigved was the only Veda. There was a time. But then it was very bulky. People were not reading it. Ved Vyasji said, well, I wrote this for the purpose of reading. If you're not reading, what's the purpose? So he said, I'm going to split it into 4. Oh, wow. He split one big Rig Veda into 4. And then people were still not reading. People said, it's too difficult. And then Ved Vyasji said, okay, tell you what, let me create Upanishads. Upanishads, they're like the subcategories, like the second. And then there are many Upanishads, and there are 108 best ones. And they are the top 10. Some are just 1 page long, and some are 100 pages and 1,000 pages long. But still, people found that very, 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 very hard to follow. If you haven't heard it, there are some of them which are very philosophical, very, very philosophical. So Ved Vyasji said, I have to do something. What he did, He said, okay, all the Vedic wisdom, I will combine in one, and now I will give you in the form of stories. And then he started compiling, you can say writing, but Ganesh ji was writing and Ved Vyas ji was reciting what we call with all the Veda Puranas, but Puranas are historical evidences or historical tales. All the Vedic wisdom from Vedas and Upanishads in their story form in Puranas. And there are 18 Puranas. Well, there are many Puranas, but 18 major Puranas, right? In that, the thickest Purana is Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana has over 84,000 verses in it. 84,000. And the second one after that is Padma Purana, which is 55,000 verses. However, Ved Vyas ji, who is the compiler of all, said that there is one Puran, if you read, then that Puran gives you the knowledge of everything I have written. Vedas, Upanishads, Kavya, Mahabharat, Ramayana, all the Puranas, if you just read one Purana. Anyone knows the name of that Puran? Okay, Aaron is guessing. It's called Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Puran. And this is the Purana, if you see, in India, a lot of times in 7 days we try to finish, and we call it Saptahik, which is weekly. So within week, we start and we finish. Of course, not all, because there are 18,000 verses, but the gist of it, we finish it. What does a Purana mean? Purana, Ishan, is Purana. You know, when the parents get old, usually children say, I'm sure your parents are not that old, because they are of my age, so they can't be that old. But when something is old, we call it Puran. In Hindi, we call it Purana. Aaron is saying, yes, we call it Purana, that this is Purana now. So that's the reason. Purana is actually historical, ancient, old. Yeah, ancient. And remember, Ishan, don't you call your parents Purana? Sometimes Aaron, no, Aaron says, no, I don't. Right? So Purana basically means old, ancient, and historical. This way it is full of the historical stories. And the medium of those stories is just to impart or give the wisdom, the Vedic wisdom. We have it. That's the whole purpose of it. I hope that's clear.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribo. Thank you so much. Very nice. So Padma Purana, and they all are a similar name. There is a Vishnu Puran, Brahma Puran, Markandeya Puran, and Skanda, Padma. But the best one is Bhagavad Puran, or Bhagavad Puran, or we call it Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Puran. That's the best one, 18,000 verses. Right. So in Padma Purana, there is a story. If you would like to know which chapter, which verse, I can give you that. And actually, those references will also come. But in that Purana, once Parvati ji, because if you would see Shivji always sits, or most of the time he sits in meditation, right? And he's so detached. He gives us such a great lesson. People will come and ask him the boon. He will give them the boon. What do you want? I want so much opulence. Opulence means so much glory, so much gold, so much jewelry. He will say, Tathastu, may it be, so it be. You have it. And from his blessings, people get it. But what he has, what he wears, nothing. Well, the snakes, as you can see, but nothing opulent, right? Why? Because he is the symbol of detachment, that he's not attached to anything. There are many more stories about Lord Shiva, because he's such a great personality. And we celebrate especially on Shivratri. But this time, when he woke up, or he was disturbed by Parvati ji, you know how wives do. I'm sure you would have seen your mom. doing it. Why don't you do something? Just keep watching what? Cricket. Aryan says cricket. Why you keep watching cricket? I don't watch cricket. But yeah, somebody told me the cricket is going on these days. So why don't you just do something? This is what wives do. Well, obviously, Lord Shiva wasn't watching cricket. I don't know if IPL was there in those days. No, it can't be. It just started recently. But Parvati ji said that, my dear husband, I would like to know that while I'm here, why do you keep closing your hands and go in meditation? And before we go any further, Shivani, you got your hand up, please.
Yeah, I forgot.
You forgot, no worries. When it come back in your mind, let us know. So Parvati ji says, I want to know, what do you do? Closing your eyes, meditate. On whom do you meditate? And he was about to say something. Then Parvati said, tell you what, I have been with you for so long. And you have been meditating for so long and so many times, most of the time. I will be so grateful if you will give me the essence of all the teachings in the world, like the best of best. And this is a great, great question. Why? See, if you will meet someone who is very high up, for example, if you meet your principal, if you are in school, if you are in the office, you might meet your CEO, the chief executive, who is the top boss of everyone. Or if you meet somebody who is the entrepreneur. Anyone knows any entrepreneur? Elon Musk. So he's a great guy. And then what will you ask? You won't ask, give me the formula of how to make EVs. How are you making the batteries, or how are you doing this and that? No, because you don't know what is the best. How you can phrase the question is that, as per your understanding, what is the best? Give me that, please. Did you understand that? Did I explain it well? So see, if you didn't understand well, then it's not your fault, it's my fault that I didn't explain you well. So you could ask whatever is best for you, you can say, please give me that. Yeah. Or you can say that I don't really know. Well, you don't really need to say, but when you are saying, rephrasing it, that what you think is the best, could you give me that? And it has happened many times. So one devotee went to the other devotee and said, so the senior devotee said, I'm so happy with you. Please ask for a boon. Yeah, ask for the boon. This happens in the scriptures. The stories are there. And the person said, well, I don't need anything. Thank you so much. I was just serving you because it's so like Sita ji. She did the same. She said, well, no, you are a guest. So a sage was there and said, well, that's okay. You are just a saint, a guest of my father. So I'm just serving you, like what we usually do, or we used to do in Vedic culture in India. But he was very happy. He said, I will give you some boon. She said, okay, if you want. But what boon you want? He said, I don't know. Why don't you give me something you think is the best? And then he said, wow, that shows that you are not ordinary person. You are celestial. And then, of course, he gave a lot of boons and all. And this has happened few times. So this is exactly what Parvati did. Parvati didn't say that I want to know this. Parvati said, why don't you give me the knowledge which you think is the best, right? And then what Lord Shiva said? Lord Shiva said that I'm going to glorify Bhagavad Gita. And this story is there in Padma Purana. So Gita Mahatmya, so there are few verses. This is verse 1. Anyone would, Shivani, you still got your hands up? You remember now? You recalled? Oh, you do. Okay, great. Please.
I don't think I really get the logic of, like, you do meditation, and if you get meditation, you get a boon. It doesn't really make sense. You should just do meditation. Like, it's like It's like you're meditating.
Mhm.
Like you're not supposed to let's say you're not supposed to eat a chocolate, you're supposed to eat something healthy like cabbage, so you keep eating cabbage, and then your parents say, oh, well done, you've ate cabbage, okay, here's your chocolate, you can have a lot of chocolate now. That doesn't make sense.
All right. Okay. I agree with you. So it says that we should do good things not for the sake of. This is Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, Karma Yoga. We should not do good expecting something back in return. Of course, Krishna says if we do good, good will happen to us. This is Karma Yoga. That if we do good karma, good results will come. If we do bad karma, bad results will come. There is no exception in it. But when we do good karma, we should not expect anything. Even if we know good karma will bring good results, when we do good karma, we should not do it for the good results. Right? So you're very right that if Lord Shiva sat in meditation, he is not sitting in meditation to get something. He's just sitting in meditation because that's the pious thing for him to do. Right? What Parvati ji is asking, that you do meditation, to whom you meditate, who is the person, who is the personality, and whatever the knowledge exists, what's the best knowledge among all? Could you please share that with me? And there's another point when Parvati ji said that, and then Shivji narrated the whole Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Purana I mentioned, the best of all Puranas, the essence of all the Vedic wisdom. Ved Vyasji, who is the compiler of all the Vedic literature, he said it that if somebody will read and understand Bhagavad Purana, Bhagavatam, which Lord Shiva also recited to Parvati ji, no other knowledge is required. Nothing else is required. Right? The 18,000 verses. Maybe at some point we will reach there. But currently we are on Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita has how many verses? 700 verses. So let's have 700 verses first before we will embark on the journey of 18,000 verses. But that's Bhagavatam is glorious, beautiful. Anyone would like to read the text? Text 1, please. Okay.
If nobody's doing, I can.
Oh, so kind of you, Shivani. Yes. Oh, right. Okay, we go Shubham. Oh, we go Ojas as well. Okay. Let's go with. Okay, Ojas has put down. Okay. Ojas has put it down. Oh, they're playing. They're competing. All right. So let's go with Ojas. Thank you, Shubham. I will take text 2 for you because I saw Ojas's hand first. Thank you so much. Ojas, please.
Gita Shastram idam punya pathe preyatra punam vishos padam avanoti bhaya sokadi vahajita.
Haribo, very nice. And English as well, please. Thank you.
One who with a regulated mind recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture, which is the best tower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Ojas. Thank you so much for being brave enough to give the attempt on Sanskrit. Now, my Sanskrit is not great either, right? But the idea is to attempt. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Like, okay. All right. Aryan was completing it. But I just wanted these four. So Krishna says, even with, and there is a word here which says, one who with a regulated mind, with a focused mind, right? If somebody will offer me, it says in that verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, that even flower, Like flowers are widely available. The leaves, this is autumn. We don't even need to break the leaf. You just go outside, leaves will fall on your hands because it's autumn. And Krishna says, with the love and devotion, the regulated, focused mind, if you offer that leaf to me, nothing else is required. That will do. Water will do. Flower will do. So simple. And this is why it says, one who with a regulated mind. So our mind should be there, which means our focus should be there. And exactly the same thing applies for our education. A lot of you guys, including Ojas and Shubham, you guys brilliantly passed on the 11 plus exams. The focus. Now the same focus, same regulation you had it there when you read Bhagavad Gita. And what I suggest to you guys, if you don't have Bhagavad Gita with you, you should have your own copies. So next time you're going to visit Aryan and Shivani, you would come in their rooms, they have their own Bhagavad Gitas. They're small, right? You can write on that. Shivani is going to show her copy. Here we go. And Shivani loves a lot of drawing. If you want, you be creative with your own copy. I highlight it as well to remember, like you do when you read anything, right? The scriptures are not there just to pray. The scriptures are there to read, to understand, and to follow, and see how smiley you will be, how happy you would be. Otherwise, we all know how hard working our parents are to get the money. But at the end of the day, they are tired and they lose the hairs, or the hairs go gray. Well, that will happen anyways. But the point is that maybe all that hard work is not necessary. Well, maybe it is necessary. But without spiritual knowledge, that happiness will never, never last for long. It will never, it will always make us anxious. Always, always make us anxious. So if we want to be happy completely, fully, we got to have the base, the foundation of spirituality. And that's what Krishna is saying here. One who with a regulated mind recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture, which is the bestower, like the giver of all virtue. This is all virtue. It doesn't say any exception there. All virtue. All virtue means virtue. Aryan is thinking. I ask these questions sometimes. Yeah, good stuff. Aryan says good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. You know, virtue is good stuff. Yes. And that's the reason I have Aryan next to me. Yeah. Okay, Aryan is guessing now. Blessings. If I will ask again, he's going to ask what virtue stands for from Alexa. And recently we have changed Alexa. We have set Alexa to speak in Hindi as well. And it's very funny when Alexa speaks in Hindi. Well, it's very funny when I speak in Hindi. But yes, the bestower of all the virtue. Virtue, I will let you guys. I'm sure you guys know. And Adi is not here today because Adi loves asking the meaning of words, which is a great quality. When you read something, always understand what that word is. And that word could have a contextual meaning, which means in one context, there is a different meaning. In another context, there could be a different, completely different meaning. But yes, here, all virtue, all good quality, what we need to have in our life, all the benedictions we get from it. So there is nothing else we need. We will get from it. Yeah. Will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that if somebody gets to this knowledge, implement this knowledge, that person will come to me and will never fall down, which means sometimes we reach to a level and then we fall down. For example, if you love cricket or football or any sports, I know you guys are very sporty, you become the captain. But after a while, you don't perform well because performing and doing the management of the team could be very stressful. And then you will say, thank you so very much. I don't want to be a captain anymore. I am happy where I was. Or maybe your performance is so much down. You're neither captain nor in the team. Why? Because you were trying to manage two things. Some of the guys, they are brilliantly, they could do it, but others might not able to. So what this says, that we will reach to a place from where we will never fall down. That's the promise Krishna is doing it. What does that mean? That means, just a very loose example. If you become enlightened, for example, Buddha. So Buddha was Siddhartha Gautam before he got enlightened. But once he got enlightened, never ever he's going to get unenlightened. Yeah. The very first word, anyone remembers the very first words he said after enlightenment, after he attained an enlightenment, he was walking and somebody saw him and somebody said, "Who are you? You're full of glow. You look like a celestial being. Are you a devta? Are you a demigod? Who are you?" You know what he said? Yeah, a bit louder.
I am awake.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, "I am awake," which means I'm not a celestial, or I'm not nothing special. The only difference is that now I am awake. What does that mean? That being awake is being enlightened. And once you are awake, you're not going to go back sleeping again. You might think, "Oh, well, Prabhuji, this is not good." But well, that's not, our body needs the sleep. Our consciousness, our mind doesn't. Well, not in the concept you will think, because there is a consciousness, there is a subconsciousness, right? And we, as per the Upanishad, we all are ignorant. Ignorant in a sense, the sun is there and we are here, the sunlight is falling on us, and then the cloud comes. And what do we say? Next time I ask someone if it happens, most of the time people will say, "Oh yeah, sun is either not there, or sun is just gone," right? Or sun is under the shadow, behind the cloud. But if you think about it, sun has always been there. Nothing has happened to sun. The only thing is that we are ignorant, that the cloud is just covering that. And that's temporary. Now, we could move out of it bit, or actually a lot more harder if you are in London, because you will keep like, when we were driving, we were just following the clouds, or we felt like clouds are following us. We thought, okay, because we could see the sunlight is there, and if it will come out of the cloud,
Direction where the cloud.
yeah, we were going in the direction. But very soon, I don't know what happened. Maybe the clouds just followed us, and for a while, the clouds just showering us, even though we had a shower in the morning, but still, not nice, not nice, not nice in driving in a lot of rain. But what happened there? That it's not the sun, it's us. But we always say things about sun. This is the perspective, it changes. When a lot of time when we say that this person has made me angry, if we just change the perspective, that it's not this person who has made me angry, it's me who has become angry, right? So I always say to the kids that don't give the remote of your happiness to someone else, that person will press the button and make you happy.
Unhappy.
Or make you unhappy. Yeah? No. Keep the remote with yourself. Keep it with yourself. Whenever you want to be happy, you could be happy. Right? Whether you get pizza or not, whether you get the pasta or not, or whatever you love to have. So the happiness is there with you. And that's why it says, attain the holy abode. Once you are enlightened, well, this is just the one level in enlightenment. Enlightenment is not the full result of devotional service, but that's one of those things which we will get as a side effect. But once we get it, nobody could take away from us. Nobody could take away from us. The residence of the Lord Vishnu is what we call Vaikuntha, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. Now, fear, we know, we are always fear, we are always anxious. Why? Because whatever we have, somebody might take. Speak to your parents. COVID happened. Well, we never know when the job will go away. Oh man, such a bad life. Really? But didn't we know that? But this is just one thing. How about the health? A lot of people are worried about COVID. And of course we should be. But this material world is called dukhalya, the place of misery. It will always be miserable. Fear will always be here. It's full of fear and lamentation. Anyone knows what lamentation is? Aryan is showing me the watch or the clock. Yeah, that it's a minute left. So we tend to start on time and we tend to end on time. On my mobile, 2 minutes. On Aryan's clock, a minute. Okay, let's finish on there. Lamentation is something where we do something and then we lament. There's a rule. While explaining the definition of a word, don't use that word in the definition. But I just broke the rule. I hope you guys got the hint. It's when we do something and we feel bad about it. Well, that's one of those definitions. But it says we should not. There is nothing. Now there is a bit of the difference. Oh, we will discuss that next because there is next words as well. We will discuss that in the next words. Oh, Hare Krishna, please. You can't hear me? Okay, all right. I thought somebody said you can't hear me. I think I can hear everyone. I can hear myself as well. So I hope you can hear me. But with that, thank you so much for your time, everyone, today. It was such a pleasure to have you. And we only did text 1 today, but of course we did a lot of before that. So next time we will do text 2 and we will go further and hopefully we'll complete all the Gita Mahatmya and then we will start Bhagavad Gita, right? So thank you so much for your time, for your association, so we could speak about Bhagavad Gita. Take good care of yourself, enjoy and celebrate Kartik month. It's a very auspicious month and I look forward to see you either Saturday 9:30 or Sunday 6 p.m. So take good care of yourself. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Shubham. Blessings for you
Hare
guys.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danvat pranams. Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.